name is Jen from Smarty Pants Finance, and I have been coming on here every Monday to do a little mystery shopping training. This is actually part 4. And I teach mystery shopping classes at community colleges across Southern California. And some of that's been on hold because of things going on. And so I thought it'd be fun to just come on here, do free training, help people to get their mystery shopping going. This is a great time to start a side hustle. I know a lot of people need to bring in some money. They are looking for a new income streams. And so mystery shopping is a great way to do that. So that's why I've been coming on to teach people. So what we're going to talk about today is how to actually prepare for a mystery shopping assignment. So in parts 1, 2, and 3, I covered what mystery shopping is. Part 2, I covered how to register with mystery shopping companies. And then in part 3, last week, we talked about how to actually get mystery shopping jobs. And so you can go back and watch all of those videos. They're all going to be on Facebook Live, I guess forever, or on my Facebook page, and you can watch all of them if you want to get the background information leading to where we are today. I don't know if you can hear right now, there's a Memorial Day a flyover for some old airplanes are flying over my house right now, which is kind of awesome for Memorial Day. So okay, so if you've been following the directions, you have probably signed up with mystery shopping companies, and then you've started applying for jobs. So if you get a job, if you get an assignment, then now you have to prepare to actually do the work. So what happens is you apply for a job, and then you get assigned the job, and usually get an email or some kind of alert that you've gotten the assignment, and it's your assignment. It's not just it's not up for grabs anymore. It's been assigned to you. And once you get that alert, then what you do is you either go back, you go to the email, and sometimes there's PDFs attached or other documents that give you all the information you need. But more commonly, you go back to the mystery shopping company's website, you log into your account, and then that job will show up under your account. So you know it's been assigned directly to you. When you click on that job that's now yours, you're going to have access to all of the paperwork and the information that you need to do the job. So typically there are 2 documents. Sometimes there are 3 documents. Look at every single thing that's available to you, because the more you prepare for an assignment and the more you know exactly what you're going to do before you go, the better you will do on the job. I can't tell you, like when I've gone on assignments and I've been unprepared, it's so much more stressful. It's not as much fun because then I'm panicking that I'm not doing it right. And the more you know what to do ahead of time, the better everything will go, which means you'll do more jobs, you'll be more comfortable, you'll make more money, and you'll have more fun at the same time. So once you click on the job that you're assigned, you're going to see 2 different types of documents typically. Sometimes there's each mystery shopping company does it their own way, but typically you'll see guidelines and you'll see a checklist. So the guidelines document is usually in paragraph form. It tells you exactly what to do, what not to do, where you're supposed to go, how much you're supposed to spend, how to upload photos, basically every single thing. It's like a manual for that particular job to tell you what to do. Each job has its own guidelines. So like guidelines for IHOP won't be the same as the guidelines for like Burger King. So you always have to review it and make sure that you're reading through, even if you've done the assignment before. So sometimes I'll do, like, let's say I do an IHOP assignment this month, and then next month I'm going to do IHOP again. The guidelines might have changed. So I always review them, even if I've done the assignment 100 times. Because there are some assignments I've done over and over again, but sometimes the client decides that they want to look for something new, and so the guidelines change. So in the guidelines, you're going to find exactly what to do. Go through it with a fine-tooth comb. I would read it at least twice. I read it once, then I go through it again. Sometimes the guidelines are just a couple of paragraphs. For hotel jobs, the guidelines could be like 20 pages long, and it's a lot of information. So typically I look at the guidelines and I'll make a little cheat sheet for myself, and I will basically take the information from the guidelines and write it out for my own benefit. and I will highlight the things that are super important that I might forget. And then I use the cheat sheet to kind of help myself study for the work. If the assignment is a hotel job, I would recommend that you actually print the guidelines. And sometimes, they could be 20 pages long, but it'll be so much more helpful to have it on paper, and then you can be highlighting and making notes to yourself so that when you get on the hotel job, you don't have to just go back to your computer all the time. And on a computer, if you look at a PDF, it's harder to have notes available that you've written out, and you can just do that more easily on paper. Other guidelines I don't always print, but I definitely don't just read it and then hope that my brain remembers. I always write things out to myself so that the important stuff doesn't, get forgotten when I go on the job. Sometimes the guidelines are called specifications or client objectives, just depends on the mystery shopping company, but basically it's the how to do that particular job. The guidelines also, it's just your document, so no one's going to see it. You can highlight, you can star, you can use, like orange and pink highlighters, you can do anything you want to it because it's for you. It's for you so you can do a good job. That's the whole point. When you're reading through the guidelines, if you come across things that you're unsure about, like you don't understand, maybe it's just written in a confusing way, or it doesn't really make sense with another part of the guidelines, this is when you ask the scheduler, or there's sometimes another contact person in the guidelines, an email or phone number, and then you ask, and you don't ever want to go on an assignment and think, oh gosh, I'm really not sure what they wanted. Always ask ahead of time. Like if it's confusing, just say, hey, am I supposed to order 2 meals? Can I order 3 meals? Can I bring a guest? Should I do this assignment alone? Always find out beforehand so you're not worried on the job and doing something wrong. The guidelines are meant to be like actually what they want you to do in detail. So it's not suggestions. It's not like, well, this is how we hope it goes. They really want you to follow the guidelines 100% if possible. I mean, sometimes, we're human. Sometimes we make mistakes. But in general, when they tell you to do something a certain way, they actually mean to do it just that way. So it could be like having dinner between 5 and 7 p.m. They don't want you to go at 8 just because you worked late. You really have to follow the guidelines. One time I made a mistake. The guidelines, it was for a pizza assignment, pizza delivery. And the guidelines had all of these combinations of toppings that you could get, and then it had toppings that you couldn't get. And I was making the to-go order call or the delivery call, and I was just a little distracted, and I accidentally put 2 toppings, like it was green peppers and tomatoes, and I wasn't supposed to order those 2 toppings together. I got the pizza, we ate it, and then when I submitted the report, I realized I didn't realize, they realized I had made a mistake, and the report wasn't accepted, and I wasn't reimbursed for the pizza, and I wasn't paid for the job. So it's really important to follow the guidelines and take time ahead of time to go through them. So like if I get an assignment today, to do on Friday, I'm going to look at the guidelines and all the paperwork today so that if I have questions, if there's anything I need to do ahead of time, I have time. So for instance, I've done assignments where I was supposed to go out to eat, like let's say Friday night. In the guidelines, it might say make a reservation 2 days ahead of time. So if I don't look at the paperwork until Thursday or Friday, I've already missed one of the requirements of the job. So just look at it as soon as you get access to the paperwork, and then you can start studying. The other thing you'll have access to is the checklist. Sometimes it's called a survey or questionnaire. It's basically a document that has all of the yes or no questions that you are responsible to answer. So it could be a dozen questions. I've done hotel assignments where it's like 800 questions, and I am responsible to answer each one of them, either yes or no. It's usually a yes or no question. I read through every single one of those questions, even if it is 800 of them. I go through every single one. Again, with the checklist, I definitely print out the whole document, and it can be lots of pages, especially for hotel assignments. But then when I go through all the questions, I circle things that I might forget. I make highlights on things that are really specific, and that way I know what I'm supposed to do from the guidelines, but I also know all of the questions that I will be asked in the report, because the checklist, the questions are exactly the same on paper when you print it as it will be when you go to enter the report in the system. So if you can answer all of those questions on paper, which I suggest you do, then you can also just answer all of them in the computer the same way. You know, you've already kind of done the work by printing it, going through, answering yes or no for everything, and then basically you're just transferring the information into the report once you have done the job. The checklists are super helpful because sometimes the information in the guidelines isn't also in the checklists. Like a lot of times there's an overlap, but sometimes not. So make sure you look at both before you do the job. This is also a good time to ask the scheduler or the contact, you know, if you have a question about something in the checklist, this is when you ask and say, hey, you know, I don't understand what this is. What I do is I print it ahead of time. And then when I go on an assignment, I don't ever have the checklist or the guidelines with me in a place that someone could see it. So just want to be really discreet, like, because you're a mystery shopper, so it has to be a mystery from start to finish. So I typically leave everything in the car, I leave the checklist in the car, and then after the dinner or after the bowling or movie assignment, I go back in the car to go home, but before I leave, I answer all of the questions on the checklist. So if it says like, was there a hostess at the podium when you entered? Yes. Was there a long wait for a table? Yes. Was the wait longer than 5 minutes? No. I answer all the questions first. So then when I get home, I've already really done the work. It's just now putting all of those answers in the computer. I think it's better to do the questionnaire as soon as possible because it is amazing how much you can forget between the time you do an assignment and when you get home, especially if you have multiple assignments. Like I've done an assignment for dinner and then I've gone to see a movie right after, and it was also a mystery shopping assignment. And so it can become kind of fuzzy in your mind if you're doing multiple jobs back to back. Okay, so what I do to prepare is once I'm looking at the checklist and the guidelines, I start making a cheat sheet for myself. And I basically summarize what's in the guidelines. I write it out. I highlight things. I add things from the checklist that I might need to forget, or that I might forget, not need to forget. And then I write important things like in bold, like take a picture of the food before you eat it. I cannot tell you how many times I've been on assignments where I'm supposed to take a picture of the food, and I've even written it on my cheat sheet, but inevitably I'll start to want to eat it and then, you know, remember, oh my gosh, take a picture first. So I'll write all that stuff on the cheat sheet and then I take a picture of the cheat sheet. So it could just be like this little notepad. Sometimes I put it on the back of the checklist. I take a picture of my own cheat sheet, and then when I'm on the assignment, my phone has the cheat sheet on it. So no one can see that it's a mystery shopping cheat sheet. But if I start to forget something on the job, I can just open up my phone. It looks like I'm looking at an email or a text or something else. And I can remind myself, okay, wait, I'm not supposed to order dessert, or the spending limit is $50. So anything that I might be forgetting on the spot, I can just go to my cheat sheet in my phone and look at it. What I do for hotel jobs is, because there's so many questions, like I said, there could be hundreds, like 500, 800, so many pages of guidelines, is I actually take everything I need to do on that hotel job and I make a schedule for myself. So let's say the hotel job is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I will look at all of the paperwork and then I kind of plan for myself ahead of time what I'm going to do on Friday, what I'm going to do on Saturday. Let's say the guidelines say to have room service breakfast one of the mornings. So then I decide, okay, I have Saturday morning or I have Sunday morning. I pick a day, I put it on the schedule, and then I actually have that written out. So I'm not just sort of like flying by the seat of my pants on the hotel assignment. I know I'm going to do this meal at this time, this time. I'm going to go to the pool for lunch this day. I'm going to go to the spa and get a massage this day. And it's all planned out. And that's super helpful so you don't accidentally forget something. I've loved the hotel assignments so much that I'm really neurotic about not missing anything. Because like I said, the guidelines are meant to be done as perfectly as possible. They don't want you to miss stuff because then the shop may be canceled and you may not get reimbursed. So I am super careful to make sure that that schedule I make for myself, there's nothing missed. And I keep track on the schedule. I cross things off as I do them, super little OCD, but it's worked so that when I'm on the job at the hotel, I can also relax because I'm not worried that maybe I forgot to go to dinner and now I don't have time to do that anymore. Another thing to prepare before the assignments is any technology. So some assignments have to be inputted on an app. So you don't want to figure that out right before you're walking into a store. Like, let's say you're supposed to go to Home Depot or something. You don't want to realize as you get to Home Depot, oh no, I'm supposed to use an app for this. Look at the guidelines ahead of time. If it says to download an app, find the app, get it on your phone, get used to using it. Also, like, open it, make sure if you're supposed to give it permission to use your camera or access your photos, make sure you do all that stuff ahead of time. Because I think the assignments I've had the most fun on, I am prepared, I'm relaxed, I know what to do. If I'm nervous that maybe something isn't working on my phone, then all of my attention is focused on the problem and I stop enjoying the experience. So you want to get all the problems out of the way and the troubleshooting ahead of time. There are some shops that require apps to find your location. There's one that's called GeoVerify. And so you put that on your phone, practice using it. It'll help so that when you need to use the app on a job, you've already done it before. There are hotel jobs that actually require the photos to be formatted a specific way. And my camera on my phone didn't have that capability. It didn't have a setting for that. So I found another camera app. I put that on my phone. I played with it. I made sure the settings were right days before I went on the hotel assignment so that when I got there, I could just start taking the pictures and I wasn't having to fix anything that was going wrong with like the pictures weren't formatted right because I forgot. Another app sometime that you're required to use is one that puts like a time and date stamp actually on the picture itself, like not embedded in, but where you can see it. So you open the picture and it says, like May 25th, 2020. There's an app that does that. And I had to get that app, play with it ahead of time so that when I went on the assignment, it was actually for an airline, I was just ready to use it. So you want to get all that stuff out of the way ahead of time. So again, you can relax, you can enjoy, you can do a better job. If you're distracted, then it is easier to forget things on the spot and then maybe make a mistake just because something is taking your attention. I think that is it as far as the preparation. Really, your success depends on the preparation you put in ahead of time. If you wait till the last minute, you may miss something. If you prepare ahead of time, you're just going to feel better about the assignment. I did some hotel assignments in London in the summer of 2017, I think. The jobs were assigned to me in January of 2017, and we didn't go to do them until June. But literally the day I was assigned the jobs in January, I started to prepare. I printed the paperwork. I found out what I was supposed to do to make a reservation. I made the reservation. Even though it was 4 months in advance, I wanted to, I had to do that because otherwise if I waited till the last minute, there might not be rooms available. And so it really doesn't hurt to prepare way in advance. And then the day of the assignment, of course, review everything, refresh your memory, look at your cheat sheet, make sure that there's nothing that you're unsure of. So I think that is it. In the first 3 trainings, I've kind of walked everyone through signing up and applying for jobs. So if you have done that, like if you've even just applied for a mystery shopping company or 10 or 20 or done anything or gotten a job, please either send me a message on Facebook or you can email me at jen@smartypantsfinance.com and let me know. I will be so happy if people are taking action and that they're seeing success. There is a lot of money to be made doing mystery shopping. There's a lot of fun to be had. And I really hope that people are taking the training and actually putting it into practice. You can go to my website, smartypantsfinance.com. I have mystery shopping info there. I have my list of companies that I like to work for, my favorites. I have some articles about traveling on a budget, like to Hawaii and Morocco. And there's one article, How I Traveled the World for Free, My secret is the hotel mystery shopping. You can read that and get some ideas. Also some other, budget lifestyle kind of things. So I'd like to open it up if anyone has any questions, or I know sometimes people come in this training, but they've actually been mystery shoppers. So if you have any comments or suggestions, that would be great as well. You can add that in the chat, or if you have a question about something, that would be I would love to answer it. And if you think of something later, you can always message me or add a comment or email me. If you haven't gone to my website, go and you can sign up for my email list, so then you'll get notifications of events like this. You can also go to my Smarty Pants Finance Facebook page and like the page. That way you see the announcements. And if you're part of the page, but you aren't part of the group, the Hotel Mystery Shopping group, you can go join that. We have like more than 700 people part of that group. And I think a lot of us are anxious to start traveling again and getting out there and enjoying the world. And so you can join that group if you want more info. So if there is nothing else, I will be here next Monday. I'm not sure what the topic will be. It'll be more about mystery shopping, and I will send an email out, so get on my email list, and I'll also put announcements up on Facebook. So I hope you have a great Memorial Day. I hope, thank a veteran if you know anyone that's in the military, currently serving. Thank people who have lost someone due to conflicts and wars that we've been part of in our country. I love this morning, I took a walk in my neighborhood and so many neighbors have flags up, and I just think it's a really great opportunity to pause and be thankful for our freedom and our great country. And so I hope you enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day. Maybe get outside, go bike riding, do whatever you can do where you're living, if it's go to the beach or enjoy time with friends and family. And please share this. If you know anyone who is struggling financially, which it's a lot of people right now that are having a hard time, and they need to start a side hustle. Honestly, all the training I'm giving you for free can help anyone to just jump into mystery shopping. I made $130-ish last week in about 2 hours doing mystery shopping. So it is a great way to make some money. I know people have bills and things that are kind of coming down the pike at them because of, this financial situation people are in. And so please share this, share all the videos with them, or just the Facebook page so they can get caught up. And then I would love to hear, stories of people finding this helpful and then being able to make some money and get their side hustle going. So let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you next Monday.